Remember that time when people just took a DNA altering substance that had never been successfully used on humans before for free cheeseburgers and beer? And remember how you treated the people that didn't take it? Like you called them names and you called them stupid and you said they were selfish. Remember that? Or how like anybody who like stood up against it was considered anti-science, except the science about already catching COVID and developing immunity from that was ignored and suppressed and actually like got accounts shut down. Remember that? Remember how like we're anti-science, but you couldn't talk about like the benefits of minerals and sunlight and exercise and good sleep? Remember how you couldn't talk about that stuff and how they banned the hashtag natural immunity? Remember that? Because we're anti-science. And then remember like we were like anti-science, we were like, well, according to science, this is the most dangerous one ever created, like the most deadly one ever created. And then you were like, yeah, but theirs is unreliable. And then we're like, what's the reliable source? And you're like, there isn't one. And you didn't have a problem with that. Remember that?
I hate these videos that are trying to be so clever. You do the whole remember when or remember that time kind of format. So it's very annoying. But it's just an excuse to rewrite history because everything this guy's saying is utter nonsense. So first of all, mRNA vaccines do not rewrite your DNA. They do not interact with your DNA. They do not alter your DNA in any way. The mRNA just gets made into proteins, right? That's it. That is guiding the production of proteins. And so it's essentially a way of making the protein component of the vaccine in your own body rather than making the protein and then injecting that. And the technology was studied. It's been incredibly safe, and it works, right? So saying that this was an untested DNA changing injection is complete nonsense. It was tested. It doesn't change your DNA. And these are have proven with billions of doses given. We have lots of data. It's extremely safe and effective. The other sort of core claim he's making in there is that you can get immunity from getting the disease. Of course you can. That's how immunity works. No one ever said that you wouldn't get immunity to some extent from getting the infection. The whole point of getting vaccinated is that you get the immunity without having to suffer the risks and the downsides of the actual infection, right? COVID killed some people. Some people actually died from COVID, or they got long COVID, right? They had long-term health consequences from having COVID. And there were also lots of risks from getting COVID. In fact, there was recent research showing, remember the whole thing about getting myositis, inflammation of the heart from the vaccine? Well, it turns out your risk of getting myositis is much higher from having COVID than from getting the vaccine. Again, that's kind of the whole point of the vaccine, is that you get the benefits without having to suffer the risks of getting a severe infection. So everything this guy's saying is nonsense. It's not true. He's trying to rewrite history in a cutesy, clevery way. These facts are out there. This is all published. Nothing was suppressed or hidden. The idea like that we were trying to hide the fact that you would get immune from getting the infection, that's just nonsense. It's amazing how politicized and wrapped up in conspiracy mongering the whole COVID thing has become. But come on, this is a pandemic. It was an infection. It's still out there. There's a ton of research. The research is all in the public domain. You could read it for yourself. You could read what scientists and experts are saying about it. This is all happening in the open.